Welcome, everybody, to the Sunday edition of the Huddle Hub Podcast. My name is Metal Mike, and today we are going to talk about all the news coming out of the world of football, obviously, but also the top 100 players in the NFL in 2026 list started coming out this week, and we are going to talk about number 71 through 100, or 100 through 71, however you want to do it, because they started releasing the list this week. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. And, not a lot of stuff in the news. And the more important thing here is to talk about this list. So I'll say this right now. I looked at this list and a lot of new players on this list. And how they do this list, I love how they do it. How they do it is Monday through Friday. Started on June 22nd. They started releasing players at 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Okay, daily on social media. And so we're going to talk about those players that are on this list. We're going to talk about the news coming out of the world of football. But before we get into it, please make sure you're heading over to the Huddle Hub Podcast over on social media, on TikTok, Instagram, X, and on Epic Studios at the Huddle Hub Pod. You're going to hit that follow button over on the YouTube. You're going to hit the subscribe button. That's how you follow on the YouTube. And plus, over on the Twitch channel at the Huddle Hub Podcast, you're going to hit that follow button. All of our social media links are in the Twitch bio. You click on the one you desire to go to, because I know not everybody uses every social media outlet, and help us build the Huddle Hub Podcast through the rest of the 2026 NFL offseason and beyond. Okay. So, like I said, we're going to talk about the news that came out this week. Not a lot of stuff, but still got to talk about it, right? We still got to talk about the stuff that came out, and that's what we're here for. Plus, this top 100 players in 2026 list that is coming out. And again, I looked at this list last night, and the amount of players who were not on this list last year so far, I should say, it's crazy. There's probably lucky 10 guys on this list so far that were on the list last year. And only, I think, one or two of them are in the positive when it comes to where they fell last year. There's two guys that are in the positive. The rest of the guys fell from better spots on this list. So this should be fun as we follow along this list. Obviously, tomorrow they'll start announcing more players for this list, but we'll continue to follow along this list as it gets released. So let's get into the news coming out of the world of football. The Seattle Seahawks are officially being sold. Vanan Kosla, he is a limited. Let me make sure it's a he. What am I doing? This is a rough start, guys. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's start this over. Okay. All right, let's start off with the news in the world of football, starting off with the Seattle Seahawks being officially sold to the Kosla family. Yes, Vanan Kosla, who is a limited partner of the San Francisco 49ers, has officially purchased the Seattle Seahawks on Saturday for $9.6 billion. So the Kosla family will become the team's controlling owners. The family went on to say that they are honored to be entrusted and the next stewards of the Seattle Seahawks. We look forward to building the winning legacy Paul Allen created and earning the trust of the Seahawks organization and fans everywhere. So, Seattle Seahawks being sold and new ownership coming in for the Seattle Seahawks. I don't think there's going to be any changes made. I know a lot of people were thinking, does this team move? Do they have a new, location? Anything like that? I don't think so. I think the Seattle Seahawks are a staple in Washington State. They aren't going to go anywhere. I mean, they just won a Super Bowl. I mean, what would that sense be made to be a successful franchise and move? It doesn't make any sense. Now, when you go back to the early 90s, the Cleveland Browns, they were not successful at all. We've seen them leave and head out to Baltimore, become the Ravens. And then, 2-3 years later, Cleveland came back because the fans wanted their Browns, right? So, Seattle, I don't see them up and moving or anything like that. I see the Seattle Seahawks staying where they're at, and this new ownership just continuing building that franchise in Seattle. I mean, Seattle has a bunch of fans. I mean, their fan base is crazy big. And if somebody would come in and take this team and move them, that wouldn't be a good thing. It would not be. So, Vinod Khosla purchasing the Seattle Seahawks for $9.6 billion, and the Seattle Seahawks officially being sold. So, wide receiver of the Detroit Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown, has gotten engaged to his girlfriend, Brooklyn Adams, back on July 7th. Now, if you guys don't know who Brooklyn Adams is, then do yourself a favor and go watch the Wide Receivers documentary on Netflix. Amon-Ra St. Brown was one of the focus players on the Wide Receiver Netflix documentary, and you get introduced to Brooklyn. Brooklyn is in a couple of the episodes. First off, congratulations to Amon-Ra and Brooklyn for getting engaged. She seems very funny. I'll say that. She does. She seems very, very funny, and you could tell she's been supporting Amon-Ra for a very long time. I mean, they're high school sweethearts. They ended up being together through college. I mean, she went through his college career. I believe she went to a different college because they had like the long distance relationship thing. And I know at the start of his career, they also did the long distance thing because she was going through nursing school. So they now finally get engaged, and they're going to get married. So congratulations to them for getting married and engaged, or getting engaged, not married yet. So the Washington Commanders on November 8th will be retiring John Riggins' number 44 jersey when they take on the Rams. John Riggins was a running back for the Commanders from 1976 to 1985. They are going to be retiring his number 44 jersey on November 8th against the Los Angeles Rams. Saquon Barkley, running back of the Philadelphia Eagles, told LeBron James, free agent NBA superstar LeBron James, that if he were to bring an NBA title to Philadelphia, he would be a legend in the city forever. Now, I don't know about you guys. I'm not big on the NBA. I stopped watching the NBA about 20 years ago, and a little over that, about 24 years ago. My last NBA game that I watched was the 2002 playoffs when the Philadelphia 76ers lost. And since then, I lost all interest in the NBA. I do pay attention to what's going on. Just in case somebody talks to me about it, I can, follow along and whatever, state my opinion, I guess. But how much does my opinion really matter to the fact that I don't really watch, So, anyways, LeBron James is a free agent, and there's been a lot of talk and a lot of rumor that he's going to be going to Philadelphia. I mean, if anything indicates Saquon Barkley saying this to him, I think the chances are much higher that LeBron James ends up in Philadelphia, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see if he does. Who knows? But it seems like Saquon Barkley is trying to make that happen and bring another superstar player to the city of brotherly love and try and get another championship in Philadelphia. So the last time a championship was brought to Philadelphia was obviously the 2024-2025 Philadelphia Eagles, beating the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 59. So last but not least, cornerback Terrion Arnold, former cornerback of the Detroit Lions. Terrion Arnold is on a tryout tour. Now, there's been a couple of teams that have been interested in signing him since his release from the Detroit Lions. As we know, he is out on $1 million bond and being accused on 8 felony accounts of kidnapping and robbery. Okay? He is eligible to play. Now, the courts are allowing him to go on his tryout tour without an ankle monitor on. So that means it's like he's not even being watched. I mean, he's being watched, but they're trusting him to not have an ankle monitor on. Now, apparently, he's already done a physical for the Houston Texans, and he's going to be trying out for a couple other teams this week and could possibly end up being signed within the next 20 days with a franchise. A lot of people have been questioning this, especially about the 4 franchises that are interested in signing him, is because we don't know the outcome of the accusations yet. We don't know whether he's going to go to jail, anything like that, because his trial is still pending. It's still going. So does a team take a chance on signing him, and then next thing you know, he ends up being found guilty and he goes to jail? Now, obviously, that team, I'm sure they would get the money back and everything like that. The contract would be null and void, all that stuff. But it's still the point of, do you really take that chance right now on a player who's in the middle of what Terrion Arnold is in the middle of? Do you really take that chance? That's the big question. So I don't know if I was an NFL owner, if I was an owner of a team, I don't know if I would, but these other teams, they are willing to take that chance. So we'll have to see. My indication, I think Terrion Arnold ends up a Houston Texan because it seems like he's already passed the physical for them. So I think that next step to being a Houston Texan is there, but we'll have to see. So, all right, guys, that's it for the news. That's all we got. That's all we got for the news. We're going to take a quick 30 to 45 second break here. We'll be back here on the Huddle Podcast to get into the start of the top 100 players in 2026 list after this. All right, guys. So make sure you're heading over to the Huddle Hub podcast over on social media. After the show today, over on TikTok, Instagram, TikTok, Instagram, X, and Epic Studios at the Huddle Hub Pod, you're hitting that follow button. Over on the YouTube, you're hitting that subscribe button. And over on the Twitch channel, of course, you hit that follow button. All of our social media links are in the Twitch bio. You're just going to click on the one you desire to go to, because I know not everybody uses every social media. Help us build the Huddle Hub podcast through the rest of the 2026 NFL offseason and beyond. So we take these little small commercial breaks because obviously talking a lot, you need to kind of drink it. And I usually drink juice during the shows. For some reason, during shows, juice is my thing. It's like weird. And it's for every show, too. Every show that I do, not only here on the Huddle Hub podcast, over on the Boom. Every Wednesday night with Cam and Phil, over on the Boom PW Pod on Twitch and on YouTube. And then the Table Spot coming back on Monday night. You can join us there, the Table Spot PW Pod, over on Twitch and YouTube. Okay? And I drink juice. Drink juice. So... And I mute myself doing that because I'm weird. I don't like that sound that people make when they drink and it comes through the microphone. Gulp, gulp. I can't stand it. I can't freaking stand it. So, but yeah. Let's get into it. The top 100 players in the NFL in 2026. Now, I know you're probably thinking, Mike, how? The season didn't even start. Well, they normally do this. They normally just they make this list before the season starts. Okay? And the players get ranked on basically how they did in 2025. And then you compare their spot from the previous year. And some players, they're new to the list. So, but the NFL top 100 list is voted on by the players themselves. The reveal is underway over on X. 2 players will be revealed at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time daily, Monday through Friday, from June 22nd to August 21st, before one top 10 player is unveiled each weekday, beginning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday, August 4th. So the top 10, one of the top 10 players will be revealed on Monday, August 24th, through Friday, September 4th. So the top 10 will be released August 24th through September 4th. Okay. So let's get in to this list. Okay. Starting with number 100, defensive end of the New Orleans Saints, Cam Jordan is on the list. He is new to the list. He was not on the list last year. As we know, Cam Jordan re-signing with the New Orleans Saints this year. He's going into year 14. And, I mean, he's a staple in New Orleans Saints. I didn't see Cam Jordan signing anywhere else but New Orleans. That's almost like Brandon Graham with the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't see Brandon Graham signing anywhere else. If he were to play football this year, he's a Philadelphia Eagle. You know, there's just some players that are just connected to the franchise they played for a very long time. And, yeah, so... At number 99, Quentin Nelson, offensive guard of the Indianapolis Colts. He was also not on the list last year. At number 98, quarterback of the Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young. He was not on the list last year at all. He falls at number 98. At number 97, Ernest Jones, linebacker of the Seattle Seahawks, was not on the list last year. At number 96, running back of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Travis Etienne, was not on the list at all last year either. We are going to talk about the players mainly that were on the list last year because most of them are in the negative as far as how they fell. And we'll also talk about the 2 that were positives, guys that got better rankings than they did last year. So at number 95, Demario Davis, linebacker of the Jets, was not on this list last year. He is on the list this year. At number 94, the first player on this list that was on the last list last year, Creed Humphrey, center of the Kansas City Chiefs. He falls one spot from number 93 to 94. Now, as we know, the Kansas City Chiefs, they had a rough year last year. They went 6-11, did not make the playoffs for the first time in pretty much a decade. And it was just a bad year for the Kansas City Chiefs. And they're hoping to get better and get back on the playoff horse and try and ride their way to another Lombardi trophy. But Creed Humphreys ending up on this list, falling one spot from 2025. At number 93, linebacker of the Cleveland Browns, Carson Schlesinger. At number 92, linebacker of the Houston Texans, Azeez Al-Shaair. At number 91, defensive end of the Chicago Bears, Montez Sweat. At number 90, defensive tackle, the Carolina Panthers, Derrick Brown. Okay. And number 89, another player that was on the list last year, running back of the Los Angeles Rams, Kyren Williams. He fell 4 spots from 85 to 89. 4 spots for the running back. Now, we know Kyren Williams didn't have particularly the best year last year. He had a good year, but he didn't have the year that you kind of expect a running back like Kyren Williams to have. So he falls 4 spots on this list this year. At 88, linebacker of the Detroit Lions, Jack Campbell, was not on the list last year. Now, I'm not going to keep saying was not on the list last year. We're just going to continue this, and if they were on the list last year, then we'll mention it. At number 88, linebacker of the Detroit Lions, Jack Campbell. At number 87, wide receiver of the Carolina Panthers, Tetairoa McMillan. At number 86, linebacker of the Los Angeles Chargers, Tuli Tuipulotu. At number 85, quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, Brock Purdy. Okay. At number 84, linebacker of the Los Angeles Rams, Byron Young. At number 83, defensive tackle of the Tennessee Titans, Jeffrey Simmons. At number 82, cornerback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Jalen Ramsey, and he was on the list last year, falling 16 spots from last year. So he fell pretty big on this list. And you got to think 82, 72, 71, 70, 69, 68, 67, 66. It was number 66 last year on the top 100 list. And he fell down pretty hard, down to number 82. I mean, Jalen Ramsey had a good year last year, which is crazy. So how did he fall so hard on this list? Which kind of, I don't know, kind of amuses me. Let's look and see why he could have possibly fell on this list. What number was he? Number 82. So he would be right here. So 17 games, 88 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. 1 interception. Because he had 1 interception last year. That was it. Wow. Okay. Oh, he was 5th lowest from a 92.2% and cover 2, 20.1, 5th highest. Okay. Yeah, I can see why now. Okay. That makes sense. All right. At number 81, linebacker of the Washington Commanders, Bobby Wagner. He fell 7 spots to number 81 this year. Played 17 games, 162 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 2 interceptions, 4 forced fumbles. Not a bad year. I mean, but he fell a couple spots from the top 100 list down to number 81. So 7 spots. So he was number 74 last year. It's crazy. At number 80, wide receiver of the New England Patriots, A.J. Brown. Now, A.J. Brown fell 51 spots from last year. 51. So you got to think he was in the 30s or number 41 last year. So 80 minus 51. 80 minus 51. It's 29 spots. Or no, he fell 50. He was 50. He was at number 29 last year. That's the number he was last year. Number 29. And he fell down to number 80. That is crazy, but that's not all. At number 79, tight end of the Kansas City Chiefs, Travis Kelce. He fell 42 spots to number 79. So he was number 37 last year on the list. Wow. I mean, you look at the statistics. A.J. Brown, 15 games, 78 catches, 1,003 yards, 7 touchdowns. And then Travis, he had 76 catches for 851 yards and 5 touchdowns. So, I mean, statistics fell tremendously from 2024 to 2025. One player that did not fall, but got better on this list was linebacker of the linebacker of the Arizona Cardinals, Josh Sweat, at number 78. He moved up 17 spots. 17 spots. So good on him. He was number 95 last year, getting to number 78. At number 77, quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield, he fell 27 spots. So he was number 50 last year. He was number 50 last year and fell to 77. It's crazy. At number 76, cornerback of the Carolina Panthers, J.C. Horn. At number 75, cornerback of the Arizona Cardinals, Budda Baker. He fell 41 spots. So he was number 34 on the list last year. That's crazy. Crazy. At number 74, running back of the Green Bay Packers, Josh Jacobs. He was number 33 last year, and he's now 74. He fell 41 spots. At number 73, defensive end of the Denver Broncos, Zach Allen. He moved up 17 spots. So he was number 90 last year and now moved up in this list. Good on him. At number 72, quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love. He fell 4 spots. So Jordan Love fell 4 spots from 68 to 72. And then number 71 on the list, wide receiver of the Baltimore Ravens, Zay Flowers. Okay, so that's the list so far of the top 100 that's out. We will get more announced tomorrow at 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. They will announce more players. It's a Monday through Friday thing. So they will announce more players when the start of the week happens. So, yeah. Going to see if there's anything else that we could talk about here before we get out of here today. Short show today. I thought it was going to be a longer show. I did. But it a lot shorter than I expected. I thought we were going to be at least running an hour today, but I don't think we have anything else to talk about. Yeah, no, everything's about the Seattle Seahawks sale. I think we're good. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about this real quick, guys. College Football 27 was released this week. It came out on July 9th. So me and John are going to be continuing our dynasty mode in College 27. We finished off College Football 26. We went, I believe, 13 or 14 seasons. Well, you got to think, 2025, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. So we went 13 or 14 seasons we went. And the final national championship game, I was the head coach of Virginia Tech. And I ended up playing Penn State in the national championship game. And I ended up losing 27-24, which was rough loss. And that's how we closed out College Football 26. College Football 27 is now out. As far as content for College Football 27, I'm not sure what's going on yet. As far as I know, John texted me saying that he was going to be doing something. So if you want to keep your eye out on the Huddle Hub YouTube and, check out, see what John's going to be doing. I think his idea this year is he focuses on his team. I focus like a separate type of thing. I think that's what he's mentioning. So if you want to keep your eye out for the YouTube channel later on today to see, I think John's going to be going live on the YouTube channel with College Football 26 content. So, but as far as John, Tuesday, the plan is that we are going to start getting you guys ready for the college football season. Okay, so we're going to be breaking down the conferences week by week up until the kickoff of the season, and we will be starting off with the Sun Belt Conference. So stay tuned for the start time for the Huddle podcast. I'll announce that on X on Tuesday morning as far as the start time of the Tuesday show. Okay? Make sure you're heading over to the Huddle Hub Podcast over on social media, on TikTok, Instagram, X, and on Epic Studios. Following at the Huddle Hub Podcast over on YouTube. You're going to hit that subscribe button. Over on the Twitch channel, all of the social media outlets are in the Twitch bio. You just click on the one you desire to go to help us build the Huddle Podcast through the rest of the 2026 NFL offseason and beyond. Follow me on social media at MetalMike714, TikTok, Instagram, X, and on YouTube if you want to follow me personally. But other than that, guys, we're going to get out of here today. Short show, and we'll see you guys Tuesday. Be good to each other, be kind to each other, take care of each other, be patient to each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. Until Tuesday, guys. Have a good rest of your weekend. Deuces.